Yes. Uh-huh. Just looking at these civil rights that I keep mentioning, oh, that was ratified in 1866. Mm-hmm. But, having been born in the United States, I'm subject to the jurisdiction thereof. Is there any jurisdiction of the United States when it's not the actual petitioner that provides the last known address or the address of service? Ouch. I don't think there is any jurisdiction of the United States at all. Now, it looks to me, yes, just looking at it, okay, that the petitioner didn't acknowledge it. Right. And that under the penalty of perjury, she would say that she didn't motion the court. Is that correct? Yes. And then you use forgery. Right. And then the sheriff's department took it upon themselves to provide a fraudulent address. Yes. You cannot have the jurisdiction of the United States unless there is the penalty of perjury that it's true and correct to the best of her knowledge that she provided my last known place of residence, right? And then any and all persons in government, yes, because I mentioned this, but I brought out that little cell phone. I can turn it back on if you want. Oh. That any person other than the petitioner, yes, that provided any information under the penalty of perjury, yes, that that was my address, yes. They do not have the authority of the jurisdiction to fill out the actual documentation necessary to motion a court. That means that not only have you arrested me, you've never had the jurisdiction of the United States of America. And of the state wherein they reside. Uh, I'm residing in Washington State, having to sleep in a homeless shelter because no one in law enforcement sees the crime. No state shall make or enforce any law which shall abridge the privileges or immunities of a citizen born in the United States. But it looks like Washington State has been has been enforcing laws that have been abridging my rights and depriving me of life, liberty, and property. Yes, as well as my pursuit of happiness without any due process of law. And I explained to the federal employees of the United States what is due process, federal employees of the United States of America. After receiving notice and an opportunity of hearing, yes, then you can be found guilty of violating your contract of employment. Now, deny to any person within the jurisdiction the equal protections of the laws. I tell you, the petitioner didn't acknowledge this. Right. She didn't acknowledge it. There's no signature there. Right. That probably means that she didn't actually fill out the information of what address I was at, what city or what county. Somebody else in government took it upon themselves to put some fraudulent address where you kept sending all the court notices. Now, you don't want to enforce the equal protections of the laws. You do want to continue to deprive me of life, liberty, property, and the pursuit of happiness. You refuse to enforce the requirements of the RCWs as well as the requirements necessary to issue court orders. And you don't have any jurisdiction of any place in the world for what you're doing. Now, I know it's not bad enough, is it? Pooch. I'm in a homeless shelter with no personal belongings, no money, because nobody understands exactly. I know. You're going to keep doing what you're doing, aren't you? keep having your little cult of spreading venereal diseases so you can come to find out. And you're going to continue to deny me my right way, yes, of living my life with my sons. Pooch. Because you don't think it's fraudulent to not have the true and correct statements of the petitioners when they motion court. Now, Pooch, there's what's known as a cult. Yes, commonly used for a new religion devoted to a living leader and committed to a fixed set of teachings and practices. Let me guess, your fixed teachings and practices involve coming to find out? It is your teaching and practice that each and every time that you come to find out, you're going to load each other, church and state, and use each other's dicks to find out exactly what it is that you're going to do as a cult. Now, I know it doesn't involve an orgasm, doesn't it? Oh, but it also involves a sexually transmitted disease known as the family. Now, for every cop, yes, every sheriff, all the federal employees of the United States Postal Service, yes, I put some screen prints in this last email, right? It says here, Judge Rohr, mail returned unclaimed, yes, on December 19th of 2011. Ooh. Now, plaintiff requests, so on and so forth. Yeah. Now, I think that I was kicked out of the fifth wheel approximately the 20th. Yes. But Mike and JR had a talk with me 4 or 5 days before that. Yes. And I told Mike, I said, Mike, you're going to have to motion the court to have me evicted. Yes. Because I was obligated to do 8 hours of volunteering. Now, there's no possible way that Mike Van Proyen on December 17th, yes, got some mail and he thought he'd teach me a lesson. And he put no longer living there, knowing that I was there. Now, I think it was the 20th of December that I actually got in my, well, it was Tom Bryant's truck. Bryant's Best Bill. Yes. Drove to my grandmother's house and spent Christmas with her. Yes. Now, let's say that a pastor, right, that decided to fuck all the sheriffs, yes, decided that he wouldn't give me notice of court hearings while employed at Kingsway Foursquare Church. Oh, wait a second. Oh, that was Clark County. Yes. You didn't send anything to 1023 Kitchen Dick Road while I was living there, did you, Clark County? Oh, did Mike get mail from a different court other than Clallam County? Hmm. And then just to think, he and JR went there and told me to get out. And I said, well, you'll have to evict me because I don't have a place to live. There's no, there's no hot water. I haven't been able to do my laundry. And as I told Marilyn, I didn't have any underwear on. Seems to be a theme of mine, not having underwear on. Somewhat suggestive for a woman that was going to cash a check from my grandmother. But I made sure she did know.